Welcome to a brand new episode of The Speaking Citizen. Today, my guest is from faraway Vienna, a city that was once the imperial capital of the sprawling Habsburg Empire. Austria is also the home of the Trapp family, seen in the Hollywood blockbuster A Sound of Music. Sandeep is a Punjabi boy from Delhi who makes films in Europe today. He is the founder of the catchy, very colorful genre called Austro-Bollywood, a unique crossover between Austria and Bollywood. When his first film, Kesariya Balam, Love Without Borders, released in 2010 in Austria, it had splashed the gray and black life of Central Europeans with all the colors of the rainbow. His dream of filming in India came true when he made the award-winning Mehrunisa in Lucknow in 2019. In early March this year, he will return to Lucknow for a first screening of Mehrunisa in that historic city. With the help of two great women, Sandeep will tell us about who are helping him to screen Mehrunisa in Lucknow. My very first question to you, Sandeep, is what is this fascination that you have for Lucknow, especially the women of Lucknow?
Okay, first of all, good afternoon here from Vienna. Mehru, it's always, I think, a privilege to talk to you and also a lot of fun. Fascination about Lucknow. Well, this is a city which I didn't know before in the pre-Mehrunisa phase. I got to know and love the city during the making of Mehrunisa and really fell in love with this city. So that is one fascination. I think it has tremendous energy. It has tremendous love for culture, which I have not seen in any other city in India so far, as far as I can compare. People are very diverse. They are very, connected to the past and the present in a very unique way. Also, a very interesting mixture of between religions living together over there, and the architecture and all that. But primarily my connection to Lucknow is Mehrunisa. So this is what the film brought me there, the story brought me there. And as you said, as an introduction, this is going to be a big homecoming after having made the film over there, to go back to the city and to the people, and getting the film over there. So we've been traveling with the film for the last 2 years all over the globe, right from Asia till Vancouver, till as west as it can get. And it's got a lot of appreciation and love. And now it's like big homecoming. So it's a very emotional thing for me to bring the film to Lucknow. And also big excitement that we have these two big NGOs who are going to organize and set it up on ground, woman-led NGOs. So I'm really excited about it.
Who are these women who are helping you to screen Mehrunisa in Lucknow?
Well, it's interesting because I haven't met them yet, but this is, first of all, Sanat Kada, led by Madhvi Kukreja. And I've heard they have this big Sanat Kada festival in February, which, is quite renowned and everybody is talking about it. It was interesting when I Googled the biggest cultural festivals of India. Among the 10 biggest, you also have Sanat Kada festival. So they are one. And then we have Sanchit Smriti, that is led by Diksha Nagar, Mrs. Diksha Nagar, who resides in the US and will probably be coming over from the US to also to host Mehrunisa in the city. So so we have again, like in Mehrunisa, the whole story revolves around woman, led by woman, and I'm very happy that even the premiere show in Lucknow is going to be led by women. So that's a huge privilege.
You just said that you did not know of Lucknow for a long time, and also you were very young when you left Delhi to study in Germany, and then started to live in Austria and work there. How did you then manage such a smashing story, which I've watched the film at the Goa Film Festival, and it's this the treatment of the very, very local Lucknow story is done in such a sensitive way. So where did you how did your sensibility fire up such a great piece of art on the silver screen when you were hardly aware of what Lucknow is all about?
Well, thank you. I principally, my philosophy of life is that good things happen to you. Good things get done, but great things just happen to you. So I don't think after seeing, the success of Mehrunisa or what it has become, that if we had known that we are going to make such a thing, we could have made it. I think a lot of energies came together and it just happened. So it's a very difficult question for me if someone asks how do you make such a good film or great film, or so I think it just happened. The intention was to go to write a story which fascinates me, which is about a woman written by a man. So I took it as a challenge because I think that was the biggest challenge for me, how to understand the thought process of a woman in different generations. And I had spoken to a lot of women over here to tell me how they think and how they perceive the world. And I found out that women perceive the world in a very different way, in a very layered way than men do. So men are very, very simple in their thinking, if I may say that. Uh, and it's very interesting to understand this concept of women, how they perceive the world. So it was just as a challenge that I started writing it. And then I also wanted that film should not be so serious. It should not be about male bashing. It should be like, it should be entertaining. So I believe that if you have serious topics, but you make it entertaining, so even men would love it. And I was very nervous before the world premiere in Goa, especially how Indian men would perceive Mehrunisa, and was very overwhelmed when we got standing ovations from men. And I remember there was this, I think 75-year-old or 80-year-old gentleman who, stood up in the Q&A and he said, "What a wonderful film," and so men weren't intimidated by the film. And he was all in praises. And we also had a second screening out of the schedule, an extra screening out of the schedule at Goa, which never happened before. And that was also predominantly. So I think that's the biggest kick I get from one of the biggest and the best responses I've got, that men are loving a film and they're not, complaining that we are just like supporting characters in the film. And so but I don't know what the secret, whether there's a secret formula. I just go ahead, make a film. I like what I do, and some films turn out well, some don't resonate so much. So I think that was the main intention, to do the film and just to do what I wanted to do, and then it just happened to become what it did.
So Mehrunisa was good and ready already in 2021, and it was screened at the International Film Festival of India in Goa, which was also its world premiere. Why has it taken you so long to screen it only now in Lucknow?
Okay, well, don't ask me, ask Corona. So because when we did the post-production in Corona times, it was really tough. I was just recalling while you were asking me this question, I was sitting with the music composer of the film here in Vienna, who is also, again, a woman. And we had to go through tests to sit together. And because, it was um, the Corona times were there, and uh, so that gave the long gap. Apart from that, we were looking for a good opportunity. We were doing, festivals all over the world. Traveled with the film for almost 2 years, and we were just looking for a good opportunity that we have that format, to bring it back to Lucknow. And also, things happen when they're supposed to happen. So I think I had a big obligation towards the main lead, Farooq Jafarji, who's the main lead in the film, who I call as a grande dame of Indian cinema. So I had a big obligation to her to get the film back in a certain format. And so we're just waiting for the right time, and I think now is the right time, and it's great because it's the week of the International Women's Day. So what can be better than a celebration of the women of Lucknow in this week? And I think that is the most appropriate time when it happens.
Would you like to talk a little bit about the problems you might have faced in trying to release your films in India?
Yeah, I mean, it is strange. Mehrunisa did very well in the festival circuit, and not only in the Indian or amongst the Indian audience, amongst Indian diaspora, but widely across the European Western audience, non-Indian audience. And wherever we went, and wherever for example, we were in Kosovo, where I think very few Indians have been, and there was an all European crowd, and our film was in the main competition, and it won the Best Film Award, and also the Best Actress, as far as I can remember. So, and it did extremely well. And people everywhere said this is a film which needs to come on Netflix or an OTT platform, and the whole of India would love to see it. But somehow we're not been very successful with these platforms. So they, whenever we've been trying to get through these platforms, but whenever we offered the film to them, they saw it, they said, it's a beautiful film, but we need something more commercially viable, or I don't know, So it was difficult. So we haven't so far been successful in getting it to India. And I don't know why. So I think it's partly also the story of the film. In the film, without revealing so much, so that people, when they watch it, uh, without giving up too much, when the producers come to Mehrunisa, and they want to give her a small role, so she says that she wants to do the lead role, and but they say they want to cast a hero in the film, a male actor, and she says कि आप hero बेच रहे हो कि आप story बेच रहे हो. So I think we do have women-led films in India. That's not something unique, or but they are very, very commercial films. So I think it's high time that we have such films, for a broader audience too. I mean, we would love to. We have made the film. We would love that Indians also get to watch it, but we are kind of restricted in our possibilities, because whenever we approach Netflix or other OTT platforms, they are not willing to take it. So that is a challenge. But I believe if it has being received so well with the audience, if people love to watch it, and they're asking us even 2 years after the film has been released here in Austria, from all over the world, that people want to watch the film. So I don't know how long they will ignore this, and I do believe that one fine day they'll come to us and they'll say, we want Mehrunisa. So in that hope, we wait, and we continue to screen the film wherever people want it to be screened.
Wonderful. Wait for that fortunate date. You have made films, Sandeep, in Austria, of course, and also in New York. What is it like to film in Delhi and in Lucknow?
Well, I didn't know how it is to film in Lucknow or in India before we made this one. So I feel that film and filmmaking in India is very different to the way it is done in Europe. In Europe, it's considered it's considered art, it's considered culture. In India, it's commerce, right? So whenever you talk about film, there's a lot of bureaucracy. There are people think it's connected to a lot of money. Things too get complicated. You need to have connections in order not to find find it difficult to move on. So these things are there. It's not very smooth. And then of course here we shoot a lot in natural locations in Austria. It's not a problem, the crowd management. In India, that was quite a big challenge, especially in Lucknow, because people are so film crazy, So the moment you put your camera and your crew is out there, before even the actors can come in on the, if you're filming anywhere along the road, there are like thousands of people who gather there and who want to watch. So that is a bit of a issue. And I think in general it's like a little bit tougher, but it could be because I'm not from there, so I don't know how people go around doing things. In general, I feel that here making it is simpler. It's more straight, less bureaucratic. Although filmmaking was never easy, so it has its own challenges everywhere. The advantage of making film in India and that's a big advantage, that people are really film crazy, that it could be an advantage. So everybody who comes and works on the set, they really want to be there. They want to be nowhere else. So we had people who didn't want to go home because they said, no, it's like you're having such a nice time. It's exciting what's happening. And we have we have this 88-year-old woman who's the main lead, and she's a known face over there. So everybody has seen her. And, the moment she was on the set, it was energized, and everybody was up on their feet and going around, and they just didn't want to go back home. And there was the shoot could have gone on and on and on. And I think that energy, I feel, is missing in Europe. So here it's more pragmatic. People come, they shoot, and they go home. In India, people can give their life to be on a film set. So it is their big desire to be there. So that energy is really great. So I like that energy, and it's interesting to connect both of them. The Austrian crew with the Indian crew, and the different mentalities and culture clash, and but all there for the love of films, and for the love of this story. So that I think is quite challenging, and at the same time, what an experience.
And also, I believe the Mehrunisa crew experienced cross-border love without border experience on the sets when the young actress fell in love with your sound recorder. And I believe they are getting married in Lucknow around the time when you will be screening Mehrunisa in Lucknow.
Okay, yeah, that's quite interesting. That I don't know why it happens, but the average of my films is two couples. So it had started off when I started making films about 14 years back, and every feature film I've made, somehow two people have come together and become a couple, and we already have babies from those projects. And so that average is being kept up to, and we have now, so the younger actress in the film, one of the actresses, she is marrying our Austrian sound engineer, and that is also taking place over there. So I think it is quite interesting, and it probably also speaks of the warmth and the energy on the set. If it's not just about completing a film, it's not just about making a film, but it's something bigger. So the energies, people coming together, friendships which stay forever, and in this case, a marriage which is happening. And so this is really exciting, that you still have time beyond what you're doing, because filmmaking is such a consuming process that you still have time to find love on during that process, and love which goes so far that you marry across borders. It's exciting.
How nice is that? So that sounds so good. Like you're actually living up to your motto of love without borders. But before you go, Sandeep, tell us also about your fascination with that special cup of chai in Lucknow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am from Delhi, so I know that, chai is wherever you go. And in my childhood also, people are offered chai. But what I discovered in Lucknow was that chai has a different importance. So you cannot have a film shoot on Lucknow without the three C's. I think one is the camera, One I said was a clap, the film clap, and the third is the chai. So every 15 minutes we had, or half an hour, we had these shots of like small chai coming over. And even our Austrian crew became so used to it that they were like, after every shot, they were looking around, where is the guy coming around? And they have different varieties of like, chai. So I find it is, there's this, I think there's some chai, coffee company, they say that a lot happens over coffee. I think
anything else that may have happened or not happened over a cup of chai, but Mehrunisa certainly happened in Lucknow over several cups of chai. Well, on that note, Sandeep, I wish you all the best for Mehrunisa, and thank you so much for taking time out to talk to the citizen.
thank you so much as well. Really looking forward to coming back to India. What a privilege to come back there on the International Women's Day and to be back in Lucknow. Really looking forward to it. And thank you for having me over in this show. Thank you.